Hello and welcome back to another episode of Zach Does It. In the past 3 episodes, we've been taking care of cleaning up and prepping my differential, transmission, PPF, and a bunch of other parts that belong to the drivetrain in order for us to get to the painting stage, which is what we're kicking off in today's episode. So I'm going to keep this intro short. If you're interested in knowing what kind of products I used and anything like that, I'll have links in the description below, as well as in the outro, I'll talk about the process and what's involved. So let's kick things off and get to painting. And with that, we are done with the first stage of paint. You might have noticed that there were some spills, there were some messes. You might even be wondering why I'm painting all of these parts in the first place. Well, to get to the bottom of all this, let's just roll it back to where we started. The differential was totally rusted out, at least the front housing was. The transmission was just super dirty, and the PPF was probably the best of the bunch in that it was mostly just dirty. It didn't have a lot of corrosion on it. Well, ultimately, it was a real pain to clean off in the first place. And second, I want to protect against things like corrosion, especially for the housing on that differential. So by painting, I'm able to put a protective layer of stuff, in this case paint, between road grime, water, salt, anything like that, and the metal casings or housings that each of these parts is made out of. Moving on from that, this isn't the final coat. So I want to hear from you what color you think all of these pieces are getting painted in the comments below. This was just the initial protective barrier. This is kind of that heavy duty protective stuff. And then I've got a top coat that's going on top that's going to add some color. So let me know in the comments below what color you think the end products will be. We'll see who gets the closest. But moving on from that, there are other things that will ultimately get painted. For example, the entire car. I plan on repainting Mama Miata. There's some rust that I need to take care of, and we'll get to that in some upcoming episodes. And after that rust is taken care of, I want to give her a fresh new paint job. In previous episodes, you may remember that there was a lot of overspray on a lot of the rubber and plastic trim pieces, and I'm really hoping to take care of some of that as well in this process. That way, when Mama Miata is back on the road, she's looking fresh, she's well protected, and I don't have to worry about doing any of this for a very long time. If you're wondering specifically what products I used in this process, all of them belong to the POR 15, that's POR 15 brand. I will have links to each of the different products that I used in the description below. But to recap some of them, I used their liquid degreaser. It's a non-foaming degreaser. Honestly, after reading some of the feedback that y'all left in the comments in the previous videos, a foaming degreaser may have been a lot more effective in the initial cleanup of the transmission especially, but the differential as well. But this degreaser worked well enough. It kept things under control, especially when used in tandem with WD-40 and a lot of elbow grease. After that, I used a metal prep from POR 15, and that's really just like an etching type of compound that is going to give each of the different components a little bit of surface corrosion, but mostly just prep it for POR 15 paint so that it sticks really well. And I gotta admit, it stuck really well. The next paint that I used was POR 15 base coat, and this is their most protective kind of paint that if you're going to put it on the underside of a car or even on the components that I painted, you can really just get away with letting them be there. You don't really need a top coat. In my case, I'm putting the top coat on because I want a specific color, but that base color of silver did look pretty good, and realistically, it would look totally fine underneath Mama Miata. I'm just looking for something with a bit more pop. But again, I'll have links to all that in the description below, and we'll talk a little bit more about it when I'm done painting, as well as when I'm installing these components in Mama Miata. I'll let you know exactly how easy it is to clean when I inevitably get some dirt or grease on them in that process. For now, that's it for this episode. It's another short one, and next week's is likely to be a little bit shorter as well. It just makes it a little bit easier for me to get each of these videos out on a weekly basis. Other than that, I hope you've enjoyed this series so far, and if you have, be sure to give this video a thumbs up. Also, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. It's one of the things that helps my channel grow in its early stages as much as possible. So share the videos, like them, subscribe to them, and I'll be sure to catch you on the next one.